First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High Yahweh, and we do so in the name of Hamashiach Yahweh Shah, and I pray that this lesson is further edifying to whoever it comes across. So as many know, there will be a World War III, and this will consist of the BRICS nations fighting against the NATO alliance. And the BRICS nations will destroy the US in the process, as it is written in Jeremiah 50:9. Immediately after this, the Father and Son will return to the earth, causing the remaining nations to quit fighting, unite together in an attempt to fight against the Messiah, as it is written in 2nd Esdras 13 and 33 through 34. This will be World War IV, and these people will be destroyed in a gruesome fashion, but that war is a topic for another video. After these wars are fought, there is still another war that will take place, and for some unknown reason, most Israelites seem to completely overlook this war when breaking down end times events. Either they never saw it, or it doesn't agree with the doctrines they were taught, so it remains overlooked. But personally, I love to talk about war, as many may have noticed. And this particular war is one of my favorite wars to read about in scriptures. So today's video will cover the legitimacy of World War V. We will be going into commonly used but heavily misunderstood prophecies, and Lord willing, whoever has ears to hear is further edified. Alright, so let's start with Revelations 20 and 1 through 4. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil, and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. So let's start with addressing the pit. 2nd Esdras 5 and 24 shows us a pit is a landmass. So when the angel in Revelations 20 and 1 went to a bottomless pit, we know it's talking about a physical location on earth. The next thing to address is Satan himself. Many claim Satan represents the Edomite white race in this verse, which can easily be debunked due to that bloodline being wiped out in Revelations 19 and 20 through 21 when NATO is destroyed, making it impossible for the Edomites to still be around when Revelations 20 and 1 through 4 takes place. Also, due to the devil being in prison in a private location, he won't be able to influence the nations for 1,000 years. Now let's continue. So verse 4 of the same chapter, and it reads, And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them, and I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shah, and for the word of Yahweh, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark in their foreheads, or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years. So after the devil is in prison, we see the believers who deny the mark of the beast in the last days will rule the earth for 1,000 years. Those who die refusing the mark will be resurrected to rule alongside their brethren who were saved. And this will be the time where we enslave the heathen nations and force them to build our kingdom, as it is written in Isaiah 61 and 5 and Revelations 2 and 26 through 27. This 1,000 year period is known as the Millennial Reign of Hamashiach, because this is the time where he will be the hardest on the other nations, and no other dead believers or sinners are resurrected at this point, as shown in Revelations 20 and 5. Alright, so now let's move to Revelations 20 and 7 through 8, and it reads, And when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. And they went up on the breadth of the earth, encompassed the camp of the saints about, and the beloved city, and fire came down from Yahweh out of heaven and devoured them. So after the 1,000 years are over, the devil is released from his prison and allowed to go deceive the nations for one final battle against the Father. But notice the devil skips right over the Edomites and goes straight to Gog and Magog to lead the heathen. And this is the case because the Edomites no longer exist at this point, as I showed in the last slide. The names Gog and Magog represent the descendants of Japheth who refused to assimilate with the Edomites in the ancient times. And today those people are mostly known as Russians. These people are also the bloodline descendants of the original Europeans known as Japhites in the scriptures. And they will lead this battle against the Father.
I'm a big dog, big bear, nigga, I'm a lion. I'm the predator of the prey that is hiding. Oh my, I have found you, nigga. Don't you run from me, little nigga. You are not fast enough. You are not brave enough. You are out of luck. Now it's time for you to die very rough. You have been warned.
As we see in verse 9, Gog, Magog, and their allies will be obliterated with little effort, ending World War V faster than it began. But here is the issue. Most camps and teachers in Israel will tell you that Japheth is not an end times prophecy, making it impossible for them to come against Israel after our salvation. And if that's the case, I would then be a liar. So to prove what I'm saying is legit, let's go back to the Old Testament and get the origin of this prophecy with more details. So now let's move to Ezekiel 38 and 3-4, and it reads, "And say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords." So most Israelite teachers will tell you this verse is talking about Russia coming against America. But if we move to verse 14, we see that is not the case. So Ezekiel 38, 14-19, and it reads, "Therefore, son of man, prophesy and say unto Gog, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, In that day, when my people of Israel dwelleth safely, shalt thou not know it? And thou shalt come from thy place out of the north parts, thou and many people with thee, all of them riding upon horses, a great company and a mighty army. And thou shalt come up against my people of Israel, as a cloud to cover the land, it shall be in the latter days. And I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen may know me, when I shall be sanctified in thee, O Gog, before their eyes." So like I said, this has nothing to do with America. Russia will gather the nations for war against Israel. And this will be after they dwell in safety, which means the war will take place after our salvation.
Do you feel me? Do you feel me, sailor? You beautiful Nubian man! You gorgeous specimen of what God can make!
This also shows us there is a time period between Israelites returning to the kingdom and this war. And that time period will be the 1,000-year millennial reign we learned about in Revelations 20 and 1-4. Also, remember that the devil is in prison during this millennial reign, which explains why the nations didn't try to go to war with Israel before the millennial reign was over. As soon as the devil is released, he will deceive the nations into believing they can win, and this will be what causes World War V to take place. Another thing to mention is that Ezekiel 38 and 17-18 shows us the prophets of old have always known about World War V and the role of Japheth. So in all honesty, I'm not the first person to believe this or break it down. And if you disagree with the prophets of old, you also disagree with the scriptures, proving there is no light in you, as it is written in Isaiah 18 and 20. So at the end of the day, World War V is for sure biblical. It's talked about in the book of Ezekiel and Revelation, making it relevant throughout the entirety of the Bible. It will be between the Russian descendants of Japheth we see today and the Israelites. And Russia and its allies will be destroyed, as it is written in Ezekiel 38 and 22. This is the correct breakdown for Revelations 20 and 1-8 and Ezekiel 38 and 14-19. And if you were taught otherwise, you need to stop following men and go read those prophecies for yourself. Now, before we wrap this up, I like to say that I'm fully aware that many discredit my doctrine due to me not recognizing any Israelite as my elder and having different understandings on specific events in the Bible. But that doesn't really bother me. Job 32 and 9-10 shows that great men don't always have the full understanding. And at that point, there's nothing wrong with listening to someone young as long as they have sound doctrine. I've yet to find an elder who can debunk the doctrine I was blessed with from Yahweh Shah. And it's due to this doctrine coming with a mouth that none can gainsay or resist, as it is written in Luke 21 and 15. We need to understand that if you are being dealt with by Yahweh Shah, he will give you a level of understanding without the help of others. You just have to have faith in him instead of men, as it is written in 1 John 2 and 27 and Galatians 2 and 6. As I just proved in this video, many elders teach incorrect doctrine, which lets me know they lost much of their understanding, as it is written in Job 12 and 20. Or they never had any to begin with, which is why well-established men and groups mean nothing to me, as it is written in 1 John 2 and 27. With that being said, Lord willing, this lesson was further edifying to whoever had ears to hear. Shalom.
I'm upset, but when some little shit decides to take over one of the most profitable territories in the country, I'm beyond fucking upset. I'm very fucking upset.
Look, fuck you, fuck the plane you flew in on, fuck them shoes, fuck those socks with the bell on it, fuck your ass fair accent, fuck them cheap ass cigars, fuck your yuck mouth teeth, fuck your hairpiece, fuck your chocolate, fuck Guy Ritchie, fuck Prince William, fuck the Queen. Now get the fuck out of my hotel room. And if I see you in the street, I'm slapping the shit out of you.